I'm going to make a brief statement just so that it's on the record for people in the town who might watch this, who are not here tonight. As I'm sure most of you know, 6 years ago, Barrington passed the second single-use plastic bag ban in New England after Westport, Connecticut. Since then, 10 other towns in Rhode Island have passed bans based on our amended 2016 ordinance. Meanwhile, neighboring Massachusetts has passed 91 plastic bag bans and 31 polystyrene bans for a total of 122 single-use plastic bans. If anyone doubts the critical need to reduce single-use plastics, you must be blind to the level of toxic plastic pollution in our oceans, on land, in our landfills, and in ourselves. Just this morning, I took an hour's walk with my friend Rita, who's sitting in the audience, and decided to collect a small portion of the litter lying alongside the path. With the exception of one glass nip bottle and one beer can, the rest is plastic, including the worst kind being shiny mylar that is attractive to birds and sea mammals. Imagine my joy turning to horror watching the celebration last night as the Pats won the Super Bowl and seeing thousands of long strips of mylar in the confetti raining down on the victors. At any rate, when our own Conservation Commission brought forward an ordinance to reduce polystyrene food serviceware and packaging, including what we know as styrofoam, I was all in. Between the time we sent the ordinance to our Economic Development Commission for review and held the workshop, which they recommended to help explain the law, we realized that it was unfair to place the burden of change on food service businesses alone, and that the change should be reflected throughout Barrington to include any operation that provides food for human consumption. Therefore, the town of Barrington, its public and private schools, clubs, organizations, food trucks, houses of worship, and even events held on town property will need to comply. In addition, due to Barrington's small size, where day-to-day governing is accomplished by a skeletal crew of salaried town employees, along with hundreds of volunteers, this ordinance, like the plastic bag ban, will be dependent on self-regulatory enforcement. So every resident in town has an obligation to understand what it includes and report perceived violations to the police, not to the council members. So in keeping with Barrington leading the way, I will make a motion to adopt Ordinance 2019-5, an amendment to Chapter 161 Solid Waste entitled Polystyrene Ban as amended.
Second. Motion's been made and seconded. Any further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
I'm going to my last legislative, no, it's actually the big group of the governors tackle plastics, and I intend to make this announcement there. Thank you all for coming.
Thank you all for supporting this. The next